So here we are once again with another installment of that oh so crazy show that we all love to hate sometimes because it was some dumb stuff that happened. Shelby with the good hair that pissed me off, but we gonna talk about American Horror Story Season 6, Episode 3, which is actually Chapter 3, My Roanoke Nightmare. So when we open up, they out in the woods looking for Flora, who is Lee's daughter. Lee, wouldn't nobody be out looking for your daughter had you not taken her when you weren't supposed to? She keeps saying that it's the hillbillies that have taken her daughter. We all know it's not the hillbillies. What you got out there, honey, is some aberrations, okay? So you out here in the woods talking about, I know the hillbilly boys took my child. Oh my God. So everybody in the woods looking for Flora. And they keep finding random stuff. Matt like, shit, I know that stuff I see out there is real. But it ain't real. It's just some spirits that can do us some harm. They ain't crossed over to the other side just yet. They still stuck somewhere lost in translation. They find like a pig and Flora's doll together, and it's disgusting. Then they end up in this abandoned looking communal looking area, like a farm area. And it's disgusting as all get out. I'm like, damn, this looked like an episode of Hoarders. Like, they packed up all the good stuff and left the shit, okay? And so, I just don't get what the deal is with the pigs, though, in this whole setup. But maybe they kind of revealed why we see a lot of pigs, but I'm not, at the same time, I'm not too sure, too keen on what it is either. So they hear these noises coming from this barn, and they go in, and it's like these two hillbilly kids feeding on a damn cow. And I was like, ew. I said it gives a whole new meaning to cowboy. Okay. Either way, the doll messed up with some pig. I said, guess Flora and little Priscilla didn't get an opportunity to exchange dolls. I was like, at that point, if you saw some stuff like that with the boys feeding on the cow, everybody need to run. Pack your shit, get your shit, and get the hell out of there, okay? So anyway, the sheriff tells them once they get the boys picked up and cleaned up and in the hospital, and they're just like, basically this property wasn't even theirs. So it's like this Pope family or whatever they are, the Pope or whoever they are, family are like squatters. And so then the boys kept saying something about chromatotin. And I was like, yeah, something is wrong with the chromosome on y'all, because y'all a little special. Y'all seem to be a little special. But actually it's some other word from like the old world, I guess is what you refer to it as. And Matt said it turned out to be a warning. They would find out later on. So Mason, Lee's ex-husband, Flora's daddy, is mad upset. And he's like, who's to say that you didn't set this up because you knew you were about to lose custody of Flora, and so you decided you were just going to take her and hide her somewhere. She's really not missing. You just hid her somewhere. And she was like, why would I do something like that? And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's a logical theory. That's what some parents do. Hell, that's what this one woman did on Notorious last week. Speaking of which, I need to do that review too. Anywho, to me, it seemed like a logical theory that you would kidnap your daughter to keep her from her father because you know the courts are probably going to take her away from you, or you'll have supervised visits. Next thing you know, Mason feeling froggy, he done jumped on her. They get in a scuffle. She get pushed to the floor. Matt tries to intervene. Then next thing you know, at some point that night, everybody sleep because they were still out looking for Flora. They're like, we're exhausted. And Matt was like, I fell asleep. I must have been really tired. I was like, you had to be tired still sleeping in that haunted ass house. The man that told you something in the house that y'all need to get the hell out. But y'all didn't listen to Professor Cunningham. Where is he anyway? Where's the professor? the sheriff or the local authorities come by and say, hey, we found a body. Baby, that body was prostrate, sprung up in the damn trees and burnt to a crisp. And guess who it was? Mason. I said, Lord, Flora, daddy gone. Well, I guess now, if she do come back, Lee can have full custody. They roasted him like a damn pig. And I'm like, well, did he take a walk in the woods? How did he end up prostrate to a tree? I was just like, because they found a ring. She's like, oh my God, it's Mason. So then Matt and Shelby are watching the cameras and they see that Lee left for a good 4 hours and came back. But Lee claims, I never left the house. I was asleep. Well, what happened is that Shelby was like, I think we need to take this to the authorities. I said, leave it to Shelby with the good hair to want to go snitch. And Matt, how you going to ask him to tell on his sister and not have all the facts? Lee was like, I tell you, Angela Bassett, I get a lot of callbacks from Waiting to Exhale. Because to me, when she was like, did you really think I would murder him? And then I was like when she went down to the office, what you going to do? You going to kick me out, Lee? You going to kick me out? I've known you. And so anyway, I was like, oh Lord. So hopefully, this works out. Let's just say that by the end of this episode, Shelby with the good hair, you want to beat her ass. Okay, that's the bottom line. Next thing you know, some little dude show up. I said, is this the male version of Tangina? Is little Flora Carol Ann? Are we dealing with poltergeist here? He just busted up in the house to share. Look, a little person. Maybe Minnie would get with him, but that was a terrible wig he had on. I said, Lord, I thought I'd seen horrible hair pieces, but my God, who picked your hair piece? So little dude's name is Cricket. He probably Tangina's cousin or brother or somebody. They didn't say that. Rest her soul. That real life actress is actually deceased that played Tangina in the first in quite a few poltergeists that they did. So he informs them that, he has done investigations with the FBI before. He's straight legit. Matt, some kind of way, did some research on him and said, okay, it's true. He is straight legit. He advises them that Flora is not dead, that Priscilla is real. And Priscilla is some child from the 1500s. Freaky. She crossed over some time ago. Lord, they down here at the table with the Ouija board and some candles. Okay, they having a seance. Child, I'm with Matt. I don't want us in the house, and they don't want us in the house, and we should leave. We should flee immediately. Of course, Shelby don't want to give up this house. Okay. So he summons the bad spirits and he finds out that I think he said who Priscilla is, that she likes corn husk dolls and all this stuff. And Lee is like, well, we already knew that. And so next thing you know, he summons Kathy Bates' character, who is known as the Butcher. And he was like, she has a cleaver. She was the governor's wife, who was left behind to govern the Roanoke colony. And turns out that, they kind of, did her dirty, okay? The Butcher is upset because Priscilla has Flora and is protecting Flora because she was she would have been long dead by now. But since little Flora, that little heifer got that child, that's what's protecting her. She used the word chromatonin. It just got really weird, and the Butcher got mad. Next thing you know, the candle got split, lights out, and all the windows got busted out. Of course, even though everybody's sitting here in the house and they see all this shit happening, people are still, you got doubtful Matt, doubtful Lee. Especially when Cricket, you done came and shown us all this and shared with us. He tells them, I know exactly where she is. And then Lee was like, $25,000. He wanted $25,000. He said, I take Visa and MasterCard. I said, oh, Lord. At one point when he was in the house, he was like, can you hear that? Can you hear that? Oh, my God. I was like, okay, he might be the real thing. But either way, $25,000. Come on now. So you showed up and offered your services seemingly for free. So you kind of misrepresented yourself. Like, I'll do a show and tell first, and then I'm going to pounce and ask y'all for $25,000. Talking about he done had this gift since age 5. I was like, okay. And then Cricket told him, he said, okay, fine, I'll leave, I will just take my little happy self home. Okay. But you'll be calling me. I'll be right back now, you hear? So, next thing you know, Lee's in this interview, because at some point Cricket said something to her. But then they flash back to the character that is playing, that is the supposed real life Lee. And because, this whole season is shot in like a documentary form. And so they mentioned something about Emily, and like the lady freaks out. It's like, turn them cameras off right now. So turns out that Lee had another daughter that either died or disappeared. They don't know. She was 4 years old. She left her in the car to run into the store, and when she came back, her child was gone. What's up with that? So no wonder Mason is not too keen on you having your daughter, or wasn't too keen, since he now dead to the damn tree. Shout out to Funky Duneva. So someone took her first child, so now she's going to pay this $25,000 to at least prayerfully save one. And so that's when he fills her in on what else happened in this colony with the butcher, because she was the governor's wife. She got left in charge. People were hungry, starving, dying. They couldn't be patient and wait for the governor to come back from Europe with the new supplies. So they decided to have mutiny on the bounty, honey, baby. They put her out in the wilderness. Even her own son turned on her, okay? I'm sure he didn't want to do it, but he was like, I don't want to die too, so I'm just going to go ahead and sacrifice my mama. So she's out in the middle of the woods, some creature of the woods, I'm just going to call her Mother Nature's. Turns out it's damn Lady Gaga. Some pig talking about eat my soul and chromatonin and something. And next thing you know, Kathy Bates comes back in and swinging that knife, chopping heads, taking names. And she told her son, you better ask for forgiveness, because next time you do some shit like this, it's off with your head too. I was like, okay, go ahead, Queen Anne. Okay. Because they left her in the forest to die, and it was some sort of pigs in the woods that saved her. So the thing told her to surrender her soul. That's what she said. She said surrender her soul. And I don't know if she tore out a heart of a pig and gave it to her to eat. I couldn't tell. Comment down below if you know what the heck it is that Lady Gaga, Lady of the Forest, offered Kathy Bates in return for her protection and saving her. Ain't nothing worse than a woman scorned, because that's when she came back slicing and dicing and taking names. Okay. Next thing you know, this is where it gets real interesting. They kind of all disappeared in the forest. They have a meetup with Cricket, Lee. Everybody's supposed to be there. Come to find out, Matt made a side deal without Shelby's knowledge. And basically, he had said that in order to get Flora back, he would burn the house down and just would leave the apparitions to take over, the poltergeists to take over. So I was like, oh, shit. You know how much she loved that scary house. Shelby with the good hair ain't gonna like this. So they fighting in the woods, and she was like, shut up, you wouldn't know anything about it. You don't have no kids. And I was like, oh, why you take it there? Because, she lost the baby that she was pregnant with. That's why they're out here in this scary ass place. So some kind of way Matt disappeared. And this is where it gets really interesting. And I mean really interesting. So Shelby wanders off looking for her husband, who has disappeared into the woods. And she comes upon an awful sight. There are two men in the woods with their back turned. Come to find out, they were jacking themselves off while watching what I'm calling the raping of Matt by Lady Gaga's character. And I was like, touch if you will my stomach, feel how it trembles inside. You got the butterflies all tied up. Don't make me chase ya. Even doves have pride. I said, oh, hell, how can you just leave me standing? Shelby was freaked out, pissed, mad, angry. She's like, fuck this shit. I mean, like Ashley Miller said, do you honestly think that Matt would go out into the woods and be like, yeah, we gonna be meeting with these people from the 15th century that may or may not be real, or the 16th century rather, that may or may not be real, and so yeah, meet me in the forest and I'm gonna let you get on top and ride me. Girl, bye. Do you really think he didn't even remember it? And to this day, he's like, he doesn't remember what the hell happened in the forest, especially based upon what Shelby. I don't remember meeting no strange woman in the woods and having sex with her. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Okay? So next thing you know, they get back to the damn house. Shelby is a woman scorned. She petty boots. She feeling some type of way. The cops all at the house. When him and Lee get back to the house, Lee end up getting in handcuffs, arrested for the murder of Mason, because I guess she showed them the videotapes. So Matt was like, what did you do? What did you do? And she was like, I don't know what you talking about. If I was Nat, I would have left Shelby in that damn house right there that night, and they could have that house and her ass, okay? You don't snitch on family like that, because she all up in her feelings, emotional, so she just decided she was going to turn Lee in. But either way, next week is going to get interesting, because the house trying to once again run them up out of there. I don't know if they got little Flora or not. I don't know. Did they get Flora in the forest? Did I miss that part? I don't know, because like I said, I'm not watching that episode again. It was a little bit too scary for me. So I'm just going over what I had from memory as well as from my Twitter notes. So either way, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. I am not Team Shelby at all. I think Shelby need to go. I think they need to hand her over to the butcher. I hope that Flora makes it safe. I hope Lee can be vindicated. I hope Mason really ain't dead to the tree. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about American Horror Story, especially those. I'm not sure who all on my friends list actually watch the show, but you know I'm here for it. Y'all have a good night.